good? It's your girl Tammy, aka Tamgazi. Your real authentic bitch has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, bitches, we're about to get right into the story. Continuation. This is part 2 of when Hot Girl Summer was interrupted by a pregnancy. Anyway, first of all, actually, before I continue, I just want to say thank you to everyone that subscribed and liked the video and also watched the video as well. We managed to get over 140 subscribers in the first week, as well as over like 1,000 views in the first week as well. So thank you guys. That's really cool, like for a new channel to have that much interaction. So like honestly, thank you so much for your support, and thank you so much to all the mamas that reached out to me as well to tell me about their crazy experiences the first time that they found out that they were having kids. I had so much fun reading through all of your stories and just connecting with so many of you guys. So without further ado, let's get into it with part 2. We left it off at when I went down the stairs from Lulu's house and went downstairs to the car to meet my nigga and basically pull out the pregnancy test for my titty and say I'm pregnant. We're in the car, ne? He's asking me like, okay, cool, so like what's up? Well, remember how I told you that I was gonna go do a pregnancy test with Lulu? Yeah. Well, I did. Well, what did it say? I'm pregnant. Looks at it. Okay. Well, what do you want to do? Well, first of all, I think that tomorrow we should wake up and like go to the doctors, and we need to like, you know, get a blood test or even like do an ultrasound to like confirm that, you know, there's a pregnancy and everything, because you know, like we can do a test and everything, but it's always really good to get confirmation by a blood test or an ultrasound. Cool. Got all your stuff? Okay, I'm just gonna go upstairs. I'm just gonna, you know, get my stuff and I'll come back. So I go up, I get my bag. I asked Lulu to give me one alcoholic beverage from the Moscato bottles that we bought. Remember how we bought 3 of them? I was like, I'm taking one, okay? Because I'm gonna need it after 9 months, okay? I mean, we bought it, so I may as well drink it. What the hell, man? I get the bottle, I get my bags, and I'm like to Lulu, my girl, I'm gonna see you soon, mama. Go down the stairs, we get in the car. Hey, now listen, right? See how I just, like I told you and I described my man's reaction to when I told him that I was pregnant? Yes, this man is a very chilled man. He's very, very chilled, very laid back. If he's freaking out about something, you're not gonna know that he's freaking out about something, okay? He's not one to really like express it openly like that. He'll feel it on the inside, but he's not gonna express it. But, okay, but this is how I knew that he wasn't as chilled as he let out to be, okay? So usually, our car rides are usually like really like loud music, and we're laughing and we're singing back and forth to each other and we're giggling, and it's a good time. It's a party time, you know? But this car ride, it was silent. There was no music, there was no talking, no chatting, no laughing, no nothing. It was silence. Crickets. All I could hear was the wind from the window blowing through my wig. That's all. It was quiet. Okay? We didn't even make eye contact. He had his hand on the steering wheel, honey, looking straight at the road like a good driver. as if we're doing a driving lesson. That's how serious he was about the driving. And me, I'm just there quiet, just like thinking about how I was supposed to be shaking ass in Melbourne and how I purchased these tickets to go have my hot girl weekend with my friends. But now, instead of shaking ass, I'm shaking in my nerves because I'm pregnant.
Pregnant.
We drive in silence from Lulu's house to my apartment. That's about like a 25-minute, 30-minute drive, just straight silence, okay? I mean, he reached out to hold my hand or whatever, you know, just to try and like relax me and my nerves and whatnot, but it was silent. We pull up to my apartment. We come out the car, we're walking up the stairs, still silent, nobody's saying nothing. I open the door. We sit down on my couch, and we're both just like this on the couch, right? I'm staring at him like this, and he's sitting in the same stance as well, just staring at me. So both of us are just there, just looking at each other like, right? Nobody's saying shit. Out of nowhere, in his true fashion, because he's such a jokester, he literally looks up at me and he goes, damn, we some clowns. I'm like, what? And then he's like, let's take a picture of this moment so we remember how stupid we looked right now. Pulls out his phone, pulls me in, takes a picture of the two of us. And then like from that moment, we just started laughing. That broke our silence. We started laughing. And we're there joking like, wow, like we're really here, popping and topping and twerking and doing it and doing the two. And it was fun while it lasted, but now it's a baby. And we're just like joking, everything is cool. We went to sleep like, you know, like joking about it and whatnot. It didn't really hit. It hadn't really like sunk in yet. Yes, we like sort of test. I was like, okay, hold up. I still have like one more test left in the box. Remember how I took one and then after that I made Lulu take one? So I still had one more test and I'm like, hold up. Let me just take one more test because I want you to see this shit. Because when I was in the bathroom before, this shit didn't even let me like wait for the 3 minutes it says on the box, and I let him see the box. I'm like, you see, it says 3 minutes, right? Watch this, let me pee. Literally did the same thing. First drop of piss, this thing said pregnant straight away. And then he was like, damn, that's crazy. The next day we're supposed to go to the doctors, right? So we go to the doctors as we had planned. I tell my doctor, so what had happened was I was supposed to get my period, but it seems she didn't want to show up this month. So I want to check if I'm pregnant. When was your last cycle? My last cycle was like a month ago. Okay, yeah, you could definitely be pregnant. I go into the ultrasound room. There's going to be a guy there. He's gonna like do the whole thing and then confirm like what's going on. Cool. We go into the room. Let me put my drink down. So, walk into the ultrasound room, right? I lay back on the bed. This is my man the whole time, right? Texting, we're walking in and he's there. He's just texting. So now I'm laying down on the bed, right? A nurse or something comes in. Okay, so you want to be here? You want to check to see if you know there's a pregnancy? And I'm like, yeah. Okay, so when was your last cycle? A month ago. Okay, cool. You know, lay back, pull up your shirt, and let's see what's going on. Okay, that's fine with me. I lay back, pull up my shirt. Meanwhile, as all this is going on, he's still on his phone, typing away, right? Chilled. Casually, sometimes he'll look up at me and the nurse and then go back to his phone again. The nurse is like, he pulls out the little gadget that they use for the ultrasound thing. Then he's like rolling my, you know, like putting the like the gel on my belly, and then like literally takes the thing, puts it on my tummy, right? Soon as he does that, I see like a flicker on the screen, right? This is my man. Meanwhile, the whole time as this is happening, this is him on his phone, right? soon as the doctor puts it there, he sees that flicker. He's like, whoa, there's a fetus. You're pregnant. And this is my man. He went from to frozen face. Not saying nothing. And then so I'm like, oh, okay. And then the doctor's like, congratulations, you're having a baby. And I'm like, oh, shit. Wow. Again. I was supposed to be shaking ass in Melbourne. But now, I'm shaking in my nerves. This is crazy. Wow. So, I'm like sitting there like shook. Okay, I'm shook. My man is still there on some... Jesus! I look at him and then we both like make eye contact and he sees me. He knows that like if he's freaking out, I'm gonna start freaking out. So he fixed his face hella quickly. So he went from back to like looking down, but this time there was no like relaxed like typing. He was just there on some looking at his phone. Anyway, so the doctor, nurse, whatever this man was, he like gives me like prints of like, you know, the fetus and whatnot, and he's like congratulating us and he's telling us to come back at like this particular week for like another checkup and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now we're driving back to my apartment in silence once again, wind blowing through my wig. And we get back to the apartment. This time there's no joking, there's no with some clowns, none of that. This time we're silent on the bed looking at each other. Then we're like, okay, cool, let's have a conversation about this. So obviously we both know, number one, we want to be together. We've been talking about having a future with each other. We've been talking about getting married to each other. We've been talking about having kids with each other. Just not right now, okay? All of these are things that we have planned for the future and that we have discussed to happen in the future. But right now, it's happening in the present. And I'm like, damn it. Wow. Okay. So we're like, okay, cool. Like, okay, we know that we've obviously discussed that these are the things that we want to see happen in the future, but this is where we are now. Like, what are we gonna do? And we talked about how like life would change and what it would look like with the baby in the picture. Obviously, both of us are like in our mid-20s, meaning that we are old enough to have like kids if we wanted to, because it's not like we're teenagers. We're not dependent on our parents. At this point, I had been living out of home for 2.5 years, completely independent and self-reliant for like 4 years at that point. 4 or 5 years at that point. I had been working for like 4 years at that point, and in the same job obviously, and like financially I was good, I was stable, and I knew that if I needed to increase my finances, I'm the type of person that can do that, okay? I'm very, very good with my money. I know how to hustle. I have my obviously my 9 to 5. I have other side hustles. It's like, okay, cool. Like if there's a baby and like coming and stuff like that, I want to be able to maintain the same lifestyle that I currently have. That means like if I want to get my hair done, if I want to get a new wig, I don't want to be like, oh my gosh, like I can't get my nails done or my hair done or whatever because like now I have a baby. I want to still be able to do those things. We talked about like a goal, like a savings goal that we wanted for the baby. That way, like if there was like any like emergency, like medical expenses, like they'd be covered. We wouldn't have to worry about finances. Basically, we wanted to make sure that our lives carried on the way that they were before the baby, and that the baby was also going to be able to come and have like a comfortable life, and it wouldn't disturb anything that was going on in our lives. So we talked about what we needed to do, and we did that shit. We made it work. So the issue wasn't with us. That's not what the scary part was. The scary part is the fact that both of us, we come from African families, okay? Christian African families. My father was a bishop, okay? A whole bishop. I'm a PK, which means pastor's kid. I'm a PK. And my mom is like very heavily involved in the church as well. She's got like this women's empowerment group, and like, you know, like she has all these women that she prays with, and like, you know, like all this stuff. So they're very heavily involved in the church, and we all know what the church and even African culture says about like kids out of wedlock, right? So we had to face our parents. That was the scary part. How the hell are we gonna break it down to our parents? Let me tell you how my mother found out. Little backstory about my mom real quick. Okay, so my mom, right, is the type of person, she's the type of person to, I don't know why this woman always just assumed that I was pregnant. Even when I was 8 years old, I feel like my mom's biggest fear was me getting pregnant, okay? Even when I was 8 years old and I would say, Mom, I have the flu, she'd be like, are you pregnant? Because one time I had the flu and I was pregnant with you, so are you pregnant? I could cough and she'd be like, oh, you're pregnant? Because one time I coughed during my pregnancy, so you must be pregnant. Usually my response is always like, Mom, really? Mom, no. Mom, are you serious? Mom, stop. Those are always my responses, right? But then, right, after this point, I knew I was pregnant. I knew that I was keeping it. I was like, okay, my mother needs to know. Like, I have to tell my mom, I had to tell my stepdad, and I had to tell my biological dad who's back home in Africa. And I was like, how the hell am I gonna break it down to them? And I was like, okay, cool. My parents are gonna be here in like 2 weeks. They live 6 hours away from me. I was like, they're gonna come and visit me in 2 weeks' time. I need to figure out a way to tell them I'm pregnant. There won't be a trip, there won't be a moment where I spend time with my mom and she's not gonna like assume that I'm pregnant just because I blinked, right? So I was like, okay, cool. Like, she's gonna come, she'll bring up me being pregnant, and I'll just tell her. I'll just tell her, right? Yeah.
It's finna be a breeze.
My mom was in Sydney, we're in the mall together, me, her, my stepdad, and my baby brother. So I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe if I talk about a doctor's appointment, then she'll ask me if I'm pregnant. So I'm like, yeah, that's the one. So I'm like, Ish, you know, I forgot. I was supposed to call my doctor because I'm supposed to schedule in a doctor's appointment. Ish, I forgot, man. Hey. And then she's like, are you pregnant? Because when I was pregnant with you, I scheduled in a doctor's appointment, so you're pregnant? Yes.
Child.
Eh? Which basically means like, what'd you say? Yes. It's like, are you pregnant? And I'm like, yes.
What is wrong with you? Are you normal? Are you normal?
How can you be pregnant? How can you be pregnant? What are my friends going to say? And I'm like, wait, what, girl? Like, wait, why are you asking me about your friends? Like, what? So like, I'm like, Mom, like, I don't care about what your friends are gonna say. Like, what? Tamgazi. Like, that's how you pronounce my name. It's not Tamgazi, it's Tamgazi. And so she was like, Tamgazi, like, how can you be pregnant? Like, how can you be pregnant? I am embarrassed.
Yo.
I am disappointed as a Christian.
Hey.
I am disappointed as an African.
Hi,
I am disappointed as a mother.
Child.
And I'm like, sorry. Because I didn't know what else to say. Like, this is awkward. Like, it was awkward. I felt like I was living in a Twilight Zone, okay? Like, this is the type of shit that I imagine, not the type of shit I actually experienced. But here I was, experiencing this shit. So anyway, she's mad. Like, she's saying like a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't know what to say. Like, I was just like, this is awkward. So we go in the car and my stepdad's there. I didn't want her to tell my stepdad because I wanted to tell him myself. Out of like my three parents, right? Out of like my mom, my dad, and my stepdad was the one that I feared finding out the most. Only because like, he's just so sweet and like, so soft, and I know that like there's like a certain life that he wanted for me and whatnot. But anyway, we get in the car and my mom was just like, you know, this girl here, this one, she's pregnant, this girl here, she's pregnant, pointing at me. And I'm like, well, shit, I guess he knows now. I didn't say nothing, man. I didn't say shit. And then, like, you know, they dropped me off at my apartment and they like drove back the whole 6 hours and I didn't speak to my mom after that for like 2 weeks, okay? And that's the longest that we've ever gone without like speaking to each other. Cool. So now I'm like, okay, somehow I need to tell my dad back home. You know, Mr. Bishop Tulani Changase / producer, singer, songwriter / businessman, but mostly over everything, Bishop Tulani Changase. Okay? So I call my dad and I'm like, hey daddy, daughter, oh my child, how are you, Cece? I'm good. I need to tell you something. Okay, like, what's going on? You want to tell me something? Yeah, there's a new development in my life. Oh, you have a boyfriend and you're getting married? I have a boyfriend. Oh, okay. I mean, you're of age, okay? That's okay. I mean, you know, you're a big girl now, so that's fine. Does he want to propose? He wants to pay lobola? That's what you want to tell me? No. And it's like, okay, what, you want to introduce him to me? Yes. Hey. And then he's like, okay, you want to introduce him to me? And I'm like, I want to introduce a baby to you. And he's like, whose baby? And I'm like, mine. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, what baby? Like, what baby do you have? And I'm like, I'm pregnant. And there's just awkward silence on the phone. And then he's like, excuse me?
What do you mean by that?
And I was like, yeah, I'm pregnant. And he's just quiet. And then after a while, he was like, you know, we obviously, as your parents, we have dreams for you about how your life is supposed to go. And there are certain things that we want for you. All your siblings and your cousins here, they all look up to you. You're like this and you're like that, and you've done so well and you've made us so proud in all your accomplishments, and you've been such a good girl and blah blah blah. This is the last thing I expected of you. So then, like, I'm quiet, I'm letting him like vent it out and whatnot, and then he's like, who's this boy? Because mind you, right, my mom and my stepdad, they know my man. They had been knowing. I had introduced him, I had taken him home, we had been on a family holiday together, sleeping in separate rooms, but we had like lived a whole life together. They knew him, like, and his family knew me as well. I had spent Christmas with them, Christmas dinner, and he came for like to my family like for a Christmas breakfast. Like, we had been knowing each other. The person I didn't know him was my daddy back home, because I was like, how am I going to tell you that I got a man? How? Because you treat me like I'm a child. Yeah, like I told my dad, I was like, okay, so like I'm gonna maybe you want to meet him? And he's like, yeah, I want to have a conversation with him. So anyway, like, my man eventually called him and they spoke. Ugh, that was the most awkward conversation. So awkward. Anyway, so then yeah, that's how my parents found out about me having a baby. They were mad for about like 2 weeks. They were in their feelings for like 2 weeks, and then my grandma found out that I was having a baby because my mom, I wanted to tell my grandma myself, but my mom beat me to it, of course, and she went and she's like, Damgazi, you're not Damgazi, this girl here, she's having a baby, she's pregnant. And my grandma was like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. And then that's when my mom started to kind of relax, and then like she saw it from my grandma's point of view, and she was cool with it. And my grandma's like, and on top of that, let's thank God, because I have lived long enough to see my grandchild have her own child, and that's a blessing, and we need to all rejoice because of that. So then yeah, everyone was really happy that, you know, the baby was coming and whatnot. My mom though, she called my man's mom and like broke the news to her that I was pregnant, and that's how his family found out about me being pregnant. That was very awkward. My daughter was born on my mom's birthday, and my mom was so happy about it. They literally look exactly alike. They act the same. That joint to the hip, that's her best friend, and the rest is history. Right now things are good. We're in a really good space in life right now. my little family and I, as well as our extended family and even our village around us. We have like such a great support system. And yes, all is well. And that's how my little Nevaeh Owami came to be and how we found out about her. Thank you for coming to my channel. More is to come, more story times are to come, but comment, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And thank you for coming to my channel. Goodbye.
I never knew that I could love you like this, but I'm happy that you showed me. Happy that you showed me.